January has brought a significant cold spell to Ireland with many outages of electricity. But during 2024 in some parts of Africa, the outages occurred for different climatic reasons.
To live in Zambia at the present moment brings a big challenge, especially for us here working at the SMA Media Centre in Ndola. The electrical supply has been diminished drastically in less than 1 year. The reasons being given to us is because of a very poor rainfall this year, which resulted in very low levels of water in the Kariba Dam, which is the main dam where the turbines are for producing electricity. The result was severe power cuts, which increased slowly as the months passed by. It began in March and April with power cuts of 5 to 6 hours daily. As the months went by, the hours of power cuts increased drastically, so much so that in September we were receiving only 1 hour of electricity per day. So to run a media studio with laptops and desktop computers, which are necessary for editing, we decided that it was best to go over to solar as much as we could. As you may know, we are only 33 degrees below the equator. Therefore, the amount of sunshine here is very adequate for producing electricity. Putting in the solar meant buying 3 lithium-ion batteries, which were only found in South Africa at that time. Also solar panels and inverters, which had to be acquired locally, but the demand on solar equipment in the country meant things were in short supply. Therefore, there was waiting and hoping for these solar equipment to be made available. But eventually the solar system was installed and is working well. So as we stand now, we are fully operational in our media studio here in Ndola.
This solar power installation has solved most of the power needs of the media centre, and they continue their weekly programmes on behalf of the SMA.
This year, the SMA Parish Centre was proud to host a series of exhibitions that brought history, culture and important global issues to the forefront.
The SMA Folklore Project showcased their St. Bridget exhibition, celebrating Ireland's patron saint with artefacts and stories that highlighted her legacy.
June saw a special visit from the Lord Mayor Kieran McCarthy, who met with members of the Folklore Project to view their Faces of Cork exhibition, which showcased notable Cork figures.
Troger's Climate Justice exhibition raised awareness on global warming, urging action for a sustainable future.
Currently on display is the Wilton Through the Years exhibition, which shares old photographs and memories from the days of Wilton's past. With the help of our generous volunteers and ground staff, a new biodiversity garden was cultivated on the grounds of the SMA, creating a peaceful and sustainable space.
In September, we held our annual International Fun Day, a vibrant celebration of culture and community. From traditional food to lively performances, it was a wonderful opportunity for families to gather and share in the spirit of the day.
This year, we also had the privilege of welcoming Father Pier Luigi Macaulay, a visiting priest from Italy who had been held hostage for 2 years. He shared his inspiring stories of faith and perseverance. The parish supported a number of charities over the year, including Grow, Brú Columbanus, Trócaire, and Cork City Missing Persons Search and Recovery. There was also an encouraging response to our fundraiser in aid of Gaza.
Our parish members embarked on pilgrimages to the sacred sites of Knock, Lourdes, Mount Melleray and Roscrea Abbey, a time for spiritual reflection and prayer.
It's been a year full of connections, celebrations and shared experiences. We look forward to making even more memories in 2025.
John O'Flaherty was born in Island Didi, Westport, County Mayo, in the Archdiocese of Tuam on the 6th of June 1901. His father was Patrick Joseph O'Flaherty, an ex-RAC policeman, who was probably retired before 1916. His mother was Margaret O'Donnell. He was an only boy, and his sister, May, was the only girl. John, known as JC, was educated in the Christian Brothers School, Thurles, and St Mary's College, Galway, 1917, before coming to the Sacred Heart College, Ballinafad, County Mayo in 1922. He entered the Society's novitiate in House of Philosophy in the autumn of 1923 and studied theology first at St Joseph's Seminary, Blackrock Road, Cork, 1925-26, and later, after the seminary's transfer, at Drummondtown, County Down, 1926-1929. He became a member of the Society on the 8th of July 1925 and was ordained a priest by Bishop Edward Mulhern of Dromore Diocese at St Colman's Cathedral, Newry, on the 9th of June 1929. He was one of a group of 15 ordained that day. JC, who had trained as a printer before joining the Society, was a writer and artist, and was destined to spend most of his priestly life in the apostolate of the pen. In October 1929, he was assigned to the Vicariate of the Bight of Benin in southwestern Nigeria, where he became the editor of the Nigerian Catholic Herald. The Herald had been founded in 1924 by Bishop Ferdinand Terrian as a monthly publication. For many years, it was the sole organ of public information and opinion of the Catholic Church throughout Nigeria. From a monthly publication, it appeared fortnightly and then weekly. The Herald was closed in 1957 due to financial problems, but has been revived in recent times. JC edited this important journal for 5 years, during which he also ministered in the Holy Cross Cathedral Mission, taking charge of the 2 elementary schools with their 1,400 pupils. In September 1934, JC returned to Ireland, where he was appointed editor of the African Missionary, the province's monthly journal, which presented the Society and its missions to the public. During this period, he was also a spiritual director of the Little Flower Confraternity at Blackrock Road, which he built up into the most flourishing sodalities of its kind in Cork. JC edited the magazine and guided the confraternity until June 1952, when he developed cardiac illness. He went to convalescence in his home at Danesfield, Sea Road, Galway, until April 1953, when he returned to Blackrock Road to continue his recuperation. In September 1953, fit once more for work, he was appointed organising secretary for the centenary celebrations of the Society's foundation, which was to be held in 1956. JC got the organising committee working smoothly, and then retired to Francis Xavier's Ducloyne, a hostel for the African students attending UCC, in September 1954. Apart from his pastoral and literary appointments, JC also occupied a number of important society posts. He was co-opted as provincial councillor to the administration led by Stephen Harrington. He served from October 1944 until July 1946, at which time he became an elected councillor for Patrick Martin Kelly's administration. at the Assembly of 1946. He held this position until March 1952, when a new provincial administrator led by John A. Craven was nominated. During his relatively short retirement, JC suffered greatly from ill health. 3 months after his arriving in Ducloyne in December 1954, he suffered cerebral thrombosis and entered hospital in Cork. After Christmas, he returned to Galway to convalesce. At the end of January 1955, he returned to Ducloyne. In the spring of 1958, JC took up residence with his sister May at Danesfield Sea Road. From his student days, JC was one of the most faithful contributors to the African Missionary. As editor of the magazine for 17 years, he succeeded in making the African Missionary uniquely bright and distinguished amongst the religious magazines. He numbered amongst his friends and contributors such distinguished personalities as G.K. Chesterton, Lord Dunsany, Bishop Fulton Sheen, C.C. Martindale, Stephen Laycock, Paul Robeson, Clara Sheridan, and Fortunio Batania. He himself encouraged young artists and writers, and was a poet in his own right. Art and nature in sweet combine, bringing forth in glory, gorgeous Drummondine. His collection of poetry, Presenting a Poet's Life, was printed privately in Cork in 1946. A further collection, Songs of Home, appeared in 1953. And 2 years later, The Sermon of the Cross. Father John Christopher O'Flaherty died at the family home in Sea Road, Galway, on the 12th of July 1959, and will be remembered too as a gifted preacher, from whom words flowed readily. He had an expert knowledge of painting and sculpture, and with his family, mother, father and sister, built up a valuable collection of objets d'art and paintings. Father J.C. O'Flaherty is fondly remembered by members of the Society of African Missions